Radio Raheem with Antonio Tarver, one of the few people who has been in this rarefied air before. What did you see tonight?
I saw a fighter that's on a real elite level, smart fighter, a complete fighter that knows his way around the ring. I was so impressed the way he controlled the whole fight. Controlled the whole fight. I'm befuddled by what I saw from Spence. At this fight of this magnitude, bro. He did what he could do, didn't have no answers. It didn't seem like he had no answers defensively, or didn't have the ability to make an adjustment and do what he needed to do to stay in this fight. No defense. I ain't seen no defense. You couldn't get away from the jab. The jab is what beat him all night. And when he had some success, I think it was when Terence Crawford was just working on defense. You can't just always be offensive minded in a fight. Got to let a guy throw his punches and then let him spin himself a little bit. But the way he went about this fight, the result, the domination, the knockdowns and the knockout, and the stoppage, it was just a beautiful fight, a beautiful executed fight by Terence Crawford. And it didn't look like they were in the same class of fighters. He made this tough fight very easy.
You know it's a difficult time for Spence now. He's in the locker room. He's going to have to deal with this and accept this loss. Once this thing really settles in with him, what would you say to him to get him past this moment?
Radio Raheem, I got to be honest, bro. They crowning these guys trainers of the year and all this stuff, but come on, bro. This man wasn't prepared for no Terence Bud Crawford tonight. And the trainer got to take some flack for that. It's his responsibility, too, to have his fighter ready. Man ain't had nothing about no defense, no head movement, no feints. Didn't have his hands up, feet all everywhere. Bruh, where's the lessons? And so I've been out here campaigning as a trainer, and I predicted the whole fight. Go look at Tarver's tape, bro. I know boxing, and they won't let me help these guys. Boxing won't even help itself. They won't put people in position that can make a difference, bro. You know I'm that guy. I did this at a high level, and they know. Look, I'm 23 years in the game. I ain't never been cut, bro. Like, they better stop playing. You feel me? Let me help these fighters, bro. I can show you the difference. Bring one of them to me. I can show you the difference, bro.
Well, we got the tape. You didn't call it. You called it.
I know this game, bro.
I always love talking to you.
Only time I missed was when Haney went over to Australia. Every other fight after that, I done called and predicted and told you how I was going to go.
Come on, Brody, put this man in this corner. Radio Raheem with Antonio Tarver.
I love you, boy.
And those are the words of Antonio Tarver, interviewed by Radio Raheem here. Man, Tarver goes in on Derrick James. And first of all, let me make it known that I'm not the guy that loves to trash the trainer once the fighter gets beat. Okay, I'm not that guy, because as you guys know, I always try to protect the trainers because the trainers can't fight for the fighters. Okay, let's just make that known. However, what Antonio Tarver was saying, did he make sense? And the answer is yes, he did. Look at the things that Errol got hit with. Jabs. Round one, ding, ding. Jab. Power jab was assessed instantly in the first 5 seconds. Boom, there was that power jab. That got Errol's attention, but that should have been a warning that, hey, he's going to attack you with his jab. Remember, Terence Crawford is a right-hander. Okay, he's right-hand dominant, but he fights as a southpaw. So what does that mean? That means that his jab, his right hook, those are the strongest punches that he's going to hit you with. Now, the straight left is also devastating, but he's almost like a De La Hoya in reverse. De La Hoya is a southpaw, fights as a right-hander, an orthodox fighter. whereas Terence Crawford is a right-hander that fights in a southpaw stance. So that jab is going to push you back. And that's exactly what he used. And there was no head movement. There was no head movement. There was no feints. There was none of that. It was almost like from round 2, desperation, desperation, desperation. That's all we saw from Errol Spence. His punches were off. He didn't have the good punch placement that we are used to seeing from him. The punches to the body weren't there. In fact, there were a lot of south of the border ball shots, okay? We didn't see those. And it does make you question what were they working on, because the essentials, the fundamentals, the things that Derrick James were praised for from Anthony Joshua, Errol Spence, Frank Martin, and others. We didn't see them last night. Now, I did see a special fighter, and there are reasons there's levels to this, but I can't help to think, dude, the Danny Garcia fight, the Yordenis Ugas fight, these fights were fought a lot differently, but they were in there with a different animal. Terence Crawford is a different animal. Let's just face it. But I think when you start getting hit by this different animal, it's certain things you do and certain things you don't do, okay? And what Errol didn't do was use head movement. I remember Oscar De La Hoya said it in between tweets. He says someone doesn't know how to parry a jab. And he was right. Somebody couldn't nullify the jab. Head movement. Get off the center line. Okay, even though Terence Crawford is a very instinctful fighter. Okay, so he knew when to throw that jab. But since that was a power jab, that wasn't really a flicking jab. He flicked it at times, but it really wasn't that type of jab. It was the type of jab to snap your head back, and that's exactly what he did. That's what had the nosebleeds from Errol Spence, that swole those eyes up, okay? Because when you catch that nose and you have that nose bleeding, people have a tendency to blow your nose or their nose in the corner, which is the worst idea because it swells your eyes naturally, okay? Because of, sinus cavities or whatnot. And that's exactly what happened, But Terence was tagging Errol's ass too, so he did have some help with that swelling, don't you think? But what is this really about, though? Antonio Tarver is campaigning to be a trainer, so this is his plea to these guys that, hey, come see me. These guys are trainers of the year. Look what we saw. We saw a trainer that I don't think instructed his fighter to get his head off the center line to avoid the jab. So it just makes his argument that much more credible when you do see a performance like that based on the things that Errol Spence didn't do. So at some point, you do have to look at the trainer and ask the trainer, did he do what you told him or instructed him to do? And if he says yes, that means you didn't tell him to do everything that he's supposed to do. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Antonio Tarver scolding Derrick James for his performance with his fighter Errol Spence. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!